What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. Thank you for stopping by. I want you guys to subscribe and like down below if you like what you're seeing, please. It does help the channel grow in the algorithm so you and I can grow straight to the moon, baby. But today, we're going to be talking about the movie Sinners. I recently seen it with friend of the channel, Jordan. And of course, if you're a fan of this movie, which I became an immediate fan of this movie after watching it, holy moly. We have Michael B. Jordan playing both Smoke and Stack, Stenfield as Mary, legendary actor Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim, Miles Catton as Sammy Preacher Boy. This is his first role. I wound up learning that this was his first role. Wunmi Masuka as Annie. You may remember her from our reviews of Loki as B-52. Jamie Lawson as Perline. Omar Benson Miller as Cornbread. He is someone that you've been seeing in movies. He's actually, what I remember him from is the big friend from 8 Mile, Rabbit's like big tall friend. That's him. Jack O'Connell as Remick, the Irish vampire, if you will. Ah, you dirty, dirty vampire. Bo Chow is played by Yao Thomas Peng. I'm assuming is the English version of his name, this actor's name. And Lisa Chow is played by Helena Hugh. Now, there are other actors that I'm missing here, and I apologize, but mainly it's these characters that we focus on, and of course, written, directed, and produced by Ryan Coogler. When this movie initially came out, not many people were expecting or know what to expect from this movie. It's very focused on music, what music can do for you and make you feel. And it's also a history of music, if you will. A lot of people don't understand that from the days of um, the plantations, uh, music was used to help uplift each other, right? And eventually that type of music evolved to the music that we know today in some regards. Like if you look at jazz and the initial run of jazz and the origins of jazz and rhythm and blues, it all starts from black musicians primarily, rock and roll. Many think that Elvis Presley is the father of rock and roll, the grandfather of rock and roll. It's really you want to look more at Chuck Berry. You want to look more at Little Richard. You know what I mean? Wah papa loo wah wham bam boo. All right. Um, Miles Davis was a jazz player. He was phenomenal. BB King. Okay, I got to see BB King when I was like 12 years old in Flushing Meadow Park, and I wish I was older to truly appreciate what I was seeing, even though I was appreciating it. I wish I was older to really appreciate the fact that I got to see BB King perform live as a young man. It's crazy. And Preacher Boy, right? He's got that, the way he plays, it's as if he's calling upon all the ancestors and to the future. And that one part where you see them kind of rhythmically dancing and everything, and you see the scene show us um, rock and rollers, from the 50s, b-boyers from the 80s, the breakdancing dudes, right, the DJs and stuff. Um, it kind of was everything and nothing all at the same time, right? It was just that moment. And if you've ever been to clubs, like dance halls, dance clubs, you kind of know that sweet spot of nothing else matters, no one else in the room matters, just the music and the trance that you're trying to get into, where you're just in rhythm with the rhythm. You know what I mean? Um, this also deals with the 1930s, right? The time period is the 1930s. The two twin brothers, uh, played by Michael B. Jordan. See, this it was the way they were able to have both of these guys together, both of these characters together, portrayed by the same guy. It was phenomenally done, and it was the first time an actor handed his own self something seamlessly. You know what I mean? As far as characters who are twins and stuff. So that was an initial thing that happened in this movie. But Remick, the Irish vampire, at one point was running from some Native Americans, and he came across a couple who was part of the Klan, and they saved him, and he wound up making them into vampires. And when they came across the party that Smokes and Stacks was throwing, because they were able to get uh, Delta Slim and some other people together to Cornbread to to do security. They were having a speakeasy party, or like they were running a speakeasy, so to speak. I didn't even mean to do that. Um, and then so Remick and the two vampires he transferred, he made into vampires, try to get in. And they initially couldn't get in because, they were being weird and they're white. And you gotta remember at the time, you gotta be aware, you know what I mean? This was a time where a black man, if he talked to a white woman, you're donezo, my friend. You're donezo. Haley Steinfeld, where she comes in, is she Stax's kind of old girlfriend, and he's kind of ditched her, ghosted her, and throughout the movie, she's just really like on that. You know what I mean? She wants to be back with him. She makes her way to the party, and unfortunately, her good nature, uh, she goes outside and runs into the vampires, and she was bamboozled by them, and she got turned, and then eventually everyone started getting turned for the most part, or dying. Even poor Stacks got changed because they were relying very heavily on the vampire lore of inviting in and everything, right? At one point, um, Wunmi's Masako's character Annie is the wife of Smokes, and they lost a child, and so she's the one that initially realized that these were vampires that they were dealing with, right? And she was trying to help and stuff, and she wound up getting taken out. Really, at the end of the movie, there's only three survivors, okay, and everyone else unfortunately got taken out. The action to this was pretty decent. The way that the vampires and the humans were trying to take each other out were pretty. This movie, there's so much to this movie that you definitely need to watch this movie more than just once, guys. There's so many things that you're not even really realizing that you're absorbing through the screen. Like throughout the whole movie, when they're at the place where they're going to do the speakeasy at you see vultures flying around. That's a symbol of death. You know what I mean? At one point, before they even started doing getting the party together, they had this other property that they were holding some stuff out that they rented from an old white man. And at the end, when Smokes was able to escape, he made his way back there to take out that man and the rest of the members of the clan, so to speak. Because initially, even if it wasn't for the vampires showing up, the clan was going to show up and try to be a bunch of assholes. You know what I mean? So at some point, these two brothers were going to have to face somebody, and I tell you, the acting to this was phenomenal. The cinematography looked phenomenal. The story itself is damn near perfect. This is one of these movies that I don't like to say anything's perfect because nothing can be ever truly perfect in some ways, I guess, except in our own minds. But this movie is definitely like a 95 or 96 or whatever out of 100. Like, I'm sure there might be one or two things that, and I can't even really think of anything negative to really say about this particular movie. Um, I know there's channels out there that found reasons to complain about this movie. And if you really listen to those complaints, we can kind of figure out why they're complaining about them. But I digress. I mean, you have a hella cast here. You know, you have a man who wrote, directed, and did this movie who's in like the prime of his career. You know what I mean? And I can only imagine the movies that this man Ryan Coogler has in store. Him and Michael B. Jordan is like putting Tarantino and Sam Jackson together. It's like putting Scorsese and Leo Al Pacino together. You know that there's just some iconic directors and actors that when that movie's put out, it's going to be gold. You know what I mean? Um, and he seems to use the same actors, kind of the way friend of the channel Jordan was saying how like Adam Sandler uses some of the same actors, Seth Rogen, Martin Scorsese. They use the same actors because they are sharing the vision of what the movie is trying to be. Now, I will say it's super easy to want to do prequels and sequels to this particular movie. I would suggest staying away from that. As much as I'd like to see sequels and prequels of this particular franchise, this is something that can be a one and done and be left alone and forever be a gem in cinema history, in my opinion. There's room to do that, you know, for sure, but I think this movie's too damn good to try to really. Um, I like how during the movie the aspect ratio changes the view depending on what scene is happening. It makes you feel exactly what you're supposed to feel during those scenes, okay? And this movie is a movie that if you can get to watch it on the best screen possible with the best audio possible, I would suggest that too. It again touches on religious and racial themes in this movie. Um, but I really implore you to watch this movie for yourself when it comes to certain things. It's going to make you think about the history of certain citizens in our country around that time. I myself, even as an Irishman, was talking to Jordan throughout the movie about how I think the Irish and the black community have uh, some sort of kindred spirit together because when the Irish started first coming into America, they were segregated away from kind of Not on, and I'm not saying it's on the same level. I'm not saying all of that. I'm saying is that there's an acknowledgement of, at least on my end, that the Irish had to go through similar things that our black citizens go through in this country. But what the difference is that eventually the Irish were more accepted by the whites than the black citizens of this country, and that's still being affected today. So I can at least acknowledge that part, that there's an understanding about what some of our fellow Americans are going through, but also acknowledge that at some point, um, when you're denied so many times and you start feeling accepted, it's easy to get caught up in that too. You know what I mean? It's just so many dynamics and so many nuances in this movie that a video, at this point, a 15, 20-minute video isn't going to do it fully justice. It would take like many videos to kind of cover everything that is trying to be portrayed in this movie and wants to be talked about. But I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts about this particular movie down below. Let me know. Again, please like, subscribe, share. Again, it really helps our channel grow. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. But until next time, peace, Snookums.